Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Welcome everyone to an episode of Outside the Panels. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and you guys know me. You know how much I love a good Kickstarter. Well, it just seems to me that I've got a guy coming up now who has had a successful issue number 1. He's now getting primed, ready for issue 2. This is that I can't believe there's a book not out there already called this. Writer, creator, artist of Bigfoot Knows Karate. I'm talking to the mighty Dan Price. Dan, how's it going?
Hey, Johnny, the Machine. Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me here today.
You are more than welcome. So, first Kickstarter, we'll start at the top. Massive success.
Pretty good. Not complaining. I was really happy. I mean, got to be honest with you. I couldn't believe that we did as well as we did, and everybody was really kind. Everybody on Instagram community were just incredible, and folks on Twitter, and it was just. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. So yeah.
I get that reaction a lot from people who've had like a good Kickstarter. It's like, do you guys not believe in your own stuff or something?
It's not. No. It's not that I don't believe in my stuff, but I believe in everybody's stuff.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And it's like, and so like, there's so many. Like, look, I know so many amazing creators, right? And some of them do tens of thousands of dollars. Some of them do like a couple $1,000s. I mean, we did $7,300 with a $1,000 goal. We funded in 7 minutes. I mean, that was pretty cool. And we funded in 7 minutes. And so I was really excited about that. And with the indie community, we're really big on sharing notes with each other and stuff. This worked for me, that didn't work for me, whatever. And I want to see everybody making 10G, 10 grand, you know what I mean? And doing and doing all that stuff, because there's so many amazing, there's some rubbish out there too. I'm sure, but but there's so many great,
you get that.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many great creators who believe in their work, and I'm no different than them. I believe in my work, but when it's actually accepted and people look, dude, let me put it to you like this, okay? Look, you and me, all right. I used to do a book called, and I still do from time to time, called Latex Avenger. Avenger.
Let me write this down. This sounds
okay.
Like right up my street.
Sure. Latex Avenger, and he has a sidekick. His name is Spermicidal Foam Lad. And together they repel crime 99.9% of the time. Okay? That was the book that I used to do. It was a funny concept, but most people were like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. Turn their nose up and keep walking away. Okay? When you're used to working on something that people like just would prefer not to ever see, when they like what you're working on with Bigfoot Knows Karate, I got to be honest with you, it's neat to work on something that people are excited to check out.
I see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, tell me about yourself. How did you get into this magical world of comic books?
Long story or short story? What do you want?
Well, we've got 40 minutes, so
Okay. I got into comics as a kid. I loved drawing, but what really got me was when Image popped in '92, when a creator could make their own stuff, own the rights to it, and you could do your own thing. Like Marvel, DC, that's great, cool, have fun. I like teams of people working on projects and making something cool. It's not that I necessarily get in, Batman's neat and all that stuff, and but it's more than just a character. It's the whole thing that gets me excited. And so
the process.
The process, exactly. Yeah. So I did some stuff for a small studio when I was like in my teens, in high school, and they taught me the basics and stuff, but I didn't really get to do my first indie book until I was 30. And then I did Latex Avenger, okay? And I did it as a lark, I just needed to make one comic and just say I finished one and get it over with. Well, a couple years after that, like I got the bug, and so I did like 7-8 issues of Latex Avenger, and then did a book called Masters of the Obvious, and that was a sci-fi space parody for Hound Comics, and then got picked up to do a thing for the Stan Lee Foundation and POW Entertainment called Excelsius, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley. and it was all about Stan Lee as a little kid. And so I got to do these 3 creator-owned projects, under different rules and limits and things like that.
Mhm.
And but after a while, I kind of got burnt out, and I was raising a family and took like a 7-year break from comics, man. And during the pandemic, my wife said to me, "You're bored. Why don't you make another comic?" And she had no idea what she was getting herself into, because I never did this really while we were together, And so, but she's been amazingly supportive of the whole thing. And that's where Bigfoot Knows Karate comes from. Like, I've been tooling around with the character since like 2017, 2018, but in 2021 is when I really kicked it off. 2020, 2021.
Image have a lot to kind of add to the indie creator. I think there was indie market before Image, but I think Image went out and commercialized it.
Yes, it popularized it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I read some indie stuff from time to time. I mean, but most of what I read was Marvel and DC, like any other kid. There was, just a few things like Grendel. I would get my hands on Grendel. 2080, Judge Dredd stuff. I would get that. Yep.
How are the Brits?
Oh yeah. Well, my father and mother are both from England, so I was actually raised on a lot of that stuff, and Beano and Dandy as well. Like I got a lot of that stuff when I was really young, and then my dad got me onto Judge Dredd and all of that. So those are like the things. Ninja Turtles, I'd read some of that, but before pre-Image. Then Image happened, and it was like all those dudes you dug at Marvel were now doing their own thing. Now, sure, all their own thing looked like everybody else's own thing, but it made an impact on me nonetheless. And there were definitely some gems there. Obviously, some of those books are still stuck around. Savage Dragon and Spawn keep going. Amazing. But I loved, and say what you will for all the creators, but they got to try what they wanted to try and do what they wanted to do. And I love indie comics for that reason. I love self-publishing for that reason. I've worked with a publisher, and I've worked, with, the Stan Lee thing. I mean, that was like lawyers, and editors looking at everything you were doing to make sure you were doing it right. And I took the job for that reason. I wanted to know I wanted that experience. But now doing this book, I want to say, it's myself. I created the book, and I've got Casey Allen, my co-writer and editor on the project. And Casey he's gold in human form. The guy is incredible. He's amazing, and I love him. We got this book that, I don't want anybody coming in at the beginning and saying, no, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that, and no, you can't. No, we're going to set the rules here in Indie Land. Okay, in the true indie format, and do what we want. You call it small publishing, call it true indie. I don't care what you call it, but we're going to set the rules of what this book is and set expectation for what the book is before anybody would ever be able to, a publisher could, take it, you know what I'm saying, right?
You want to be in control of your own destiny. You want to turn around and say, this book is about this, and you don't want the message watered down in any shape, way, or form.
Johnny, you get me, man.
it's like I listened. Who'd have thought?
You're living right here, rent free, buddy. You're doing great.
I have to say, the concept. my brother and I, we grew up on the original $6 Million Man.
Oh yeah.
But every other episode, he seemed to be going against Bigfoot. And
Andre the Giant, right?
Yeah, and my brother was fascinated. It was like, oh, this is the one where he goes against the tank. No, we're not watching that one. This one's the one where he's going out with Jamie Summers. No, we're not watching this one. Bigfoot's in this one. Right, we're watching. What is it about Bigfoot that carries such a great sort of sense of, I don't know, enjoyment in the character?
I don't know, okay, because I've never been like a lifelong Bigfoot fan. I mean, like I have no. This is, they say write what you know. Okay, well, this story is the exact opposite of that. This is write what you don't know.
So what you're saying is you know more about latex than Bigfoot. Got it?
Definitely, freakingly. No doubt about it. I've used a condom, and I've never seen Bigfoot. You know what I mean? So there you go. So this book is, So the thing with Bigfoot Knows Karate. it just rolled off the tongue. The idea just kind of worked. Originally, it was going to be a comedy so many years ago, back in like 2014, 2015. It was going to be a comedy set into the Latex Avenger Masters of the Obvious universe. And what ended up happening was I didn't like that. It didn't feel funny to me. And when I started drawing it, because my art style for that world was completely different than what I'm doing right here. And I started doodling this character and posting it up on Instagram around 2018, 2017. And I was just doodling it and putting it out there. Now, Casey Allen saw what I was doing with that and said, hey, you gotta do something with this character. Well, it took me 2 more years to come up with a plot line that wasn't the typical revenge story or Karate Kid story, that trite martial arts film, storyline. It had to be something different. It had to be, because the concept is different enough. Don't make it the same thing just with with a different costume on it. This time he's a Bigfoot.
So don't do Kung Fu Panda.
There you go. I've never seen it, but yes, don't do that. You know what I mean? So these are the things I haven't seen. I haven't seen Samurai Jack, but 20 minutes of that when my nephew was like 5. And then and I have not seen Kung Fu Panda now. And I get a lot of people will talk to me about Samurai Jack and like, oh yes, reminds me of cool. If it reminds you of Samurai Jack, I'll take it as a compliment because that stuff is beautiful. But it wasn't something that kind of led itself to me. But like one day I said to myself, when I finish the book, I'm actually going to sit down and watch Samurai Jack, but I'm not going to watch it until I finish what I'm doing, because I don't want to ever feel like I grabbed something from somewhere. You know what I mean?
This is a great thing, because I see a lot of writers and artists on Twitter begging people not to send in story ideas, because once they've seen it, that's it. It's in the head.
It's in their head.
And then how do you divorce that? Like, this was my original idea that just so happens to sound like something someone said once. So I totally get it. It's hard. I'm in the middle of messing around with a comic book for myself, and I review comic books for Comic Crusaders, and I talk to loads of people on podcasts about comic books. I worry that I am going to get caught up in this whole. I drew an assassin called Headshot.
Oh,
great
good
name for an assassin, right? Headshot.
Right.
And then I finished drawing him. He had like a face mask on, like a metal mask, and then he had a leather jacket, and he had a gun on his hip. I was like, I am drawing Red Hood. What's going on here? I hate Red Hood. What the hell am I doing? Yeah. So I totally get it, man. All these different cross media products like Kung Fu Panda, Samurai Jack. Even if you want to stay comic book wise, maybe in tone, if not in match for match, something like Shirtless the Bear Fighter from a couple of years ago.
Okay, I don't know that one, but yeah,
that same sort of.
I mean, I'll say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, seriously, I'll go there, because I mean, it's another animal doing a martial art. I mean, you know what I mean? If you want to take it from that room, look. I mean, I've heard people say, there's nothing new to be created. You know what I mean? Or there's no original ideas left. My attitude is, if people think that way, they're not trying hard enough. But
I like that.
Yeah, but I mean, but look, we're all going to take something from somewhere. Like my pitch for this comic is, it's Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a splash of Lost, and that helps people understand what I'm thinking, and what Casey and I, yeah, I hope so. Maybe it seems to grab people's attention anyway. So
that sounds like somebody's read the TV guide with Tourette's. Which is your favorite process? You said you like process. You're the creator, writer, artist on this book, or co-writer?
Yeah, co-writer, yeah.
So then, what do you like doing the best? Do you like planning the idea out and kind of speaking to Casey about how it's going to go? Or do you prefer just getting down the key acts down and then building around that?
Like, what do I think what I like the most, or what are my strengths? You know what I mean? Because what I like the most is I like drawing the book. I like writing the book. I like drawing the book. I like doing the whole thing. I really do. I mean, to me, the whole process of writing and drawing and just being, I mean, I do the colors, I do the letters, I do all the graphic design, I do everything that has to happen with the book. I do all that. Casey co-writes with me, he edits, and he's amazing at what he does, But like my best, my happy place would be to be, honestly, to be the creator and work with other artists, and writers to, plan out a larger thing. I'm a decent idea guy. You know what I mean? I come up with some weird stuff and, and love to see it through, but I also love working with other people and, the ability to get more stuff out, working with teams would be incredible. You know what I mean? And co-write with a couple of people, and do a couple, we have another Bigfoot Knows Karate book that's coming out, like a sub book coming out here soon, that I get to play with that because Casey's taking the lead on the writing. We're bringing in a different artist to do this backstory issue that we're doing. And I mean, and I get to watch other people play with things that I've created, and it's fun. I know, but you know what? If you knew the team I'm working with, you'd know I'm in good hands with this. You know what I mean? Casey is, that guy is amazing. We don't always see eye to eye, but who the hell does? And we jive well with each other working. So it's been a great experience. And the gentleman who's going to be doing the artwork on the book, he's already done covers for both of our issues, and he's team BFKK all the way, he says. I mean, in fact, we're going to hang out in Baltimore Comic-Con at the end of the month, and at the October 28th through 30th, we're tabling together. He's coming from Maine, and I'm coming from Austin, Texas, to do the show for the weekend. It'll be fun.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. I have to say, I like the different art styles that are going on in this book, because you start off quite, I'm not going to say tame, but you start off quite realistic. That is a very nice picture of a bunny rabbit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's watership down. Get ready. There's going to be some stuff happening.
Right.
And then from there on in, whoa, you're getting some heavy lines going on. You've got some obviously nobody ran out of Indian ink at the comic book store, thank God. Because there's a lot going on that page. And then from there on in, it just turns, it's a big character, Bigfoot. It's part of his name, right? So there's like an odd juxtaposition between how you've got like the little rabbit, this big Bigfoot, and then you've got like a wolf trying to do his thing. What was the kernel? What was the thing that made you think that this would be a good call? Because I am blown away. Why do you think Bigfoot would know karate?
I don't know. It just sounded good in the title to begin with. I mean, let's just, I'm not a deep guy. I'm rather shallow around here. So no, I just wanted to play with this concept of a Bigfoot, and that the whole psyche and philosophy of a Bigfoot. If you were alone and by yourself and no one knew you existed and you had no contact with the world, what would that do to you? Yeah. What would that do to you psychologically, right? And then on top of that, but you are trained in a martial art that that teaches, all these principles and philosophies behind that. I don't know. It started off as a title. I mean, all things to me start off with a character or a title, like Tex Avenger, or Manibus, the Kaiju Pot Monster, Sexy Nurse America, whatever weird crap characters.
What?
Yeah.
What's Sexy
Nurse America? These were Latex Avenger and Masters of the Obvious characters. No, you had characters like Manibus, who was a Kaiju Pot Monster, and Sexy Nurse America, who was like the, crazy stories. I mean, I had Kosher the Pig. There was, hey, that's my boy. And Dr. Biclops, he had two eyes, and the Visible Woman, you can't miss her. And I love crazy characters, man. The My Little Jabronis. I mean, I've come up with so many weird characters in my comics over the years. That's how this started. It was a Bigfoot Knows Karate. Bigfoot Knows Karate. Where did that come from, And because I've been sitting on this for years. I mean, it was just in a notebook for the longest time. Because originally he was going to have the entire normal martial arts storyline. You know, he was going to get hurt in the woods, and the master's going to find him and take him back. But the other trainee is not going to like the Bigfoot, and that's going to cause friction. And then he kills them. The other guy kills the master, and runs away. And Bigfoot has to go on his Kane-like journey, you know, across the world looking for this dude, and has fights along the way. And then it ends up landing in a mall in like a suburb of Dallas. You know, yeah, I'm not kidding around. This was how it was going to go. He was going to work at like the corn dog place in the mall, or you know, the pretzel place or something like that. And there was going to be all these different characters in the mall, like the sweatsuit mafia and the, you know, which is like the old people that just walk in the circle. Yeah. And all this just weird stuff. It was stupid. It was dumb. It didn't work. Get it out of here. But then if you're not going to do that kind of strange, you know, one direction, then you need to go strange into the other. And that's what we're kind of doing with this. I mean, instead of having funny characters, we're having, you know, we have Kung Fu Thulu, you know, who's a kaiju, you know, that does martial arts as well. So you've got Kung Fu Thulu, you got Bigfoot Knows Karate in that first issue, in the, you know, just and the cryptid battle of the century. It was cool, you know. I mean, the first book it starts very small. It starts with that rabbit. And by the time, if you haven't read it yet, by the time you get, I won't spoil it for you, but you know, you get to the end of it and it's just blown up huge. So yeah,
it's a good fun read. It's a good fun read. There's something to be said massively for comics that take genres and mash them together a little bit.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. There's only something like 7 original stories kicking around in the world. So if you're gonna throw 2 together and come up with something else, then that's always good for grins.
I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. 7 minutes. 7 minutes to get fully funded. Can you remember how many backers you had back then? Can you remember that?
We had at least, I mean, well, we had 212 backers in the end on the $7,300, you know, total raised. We were asking for $1,000. I don't know. I mean, we probably got it in, you know, the first 20, 30 people. I'm not sure how, but I know by the time we finished the live stream that night, we had already gone over 50 backers for the evening in 2.5 hours, because we did a art raffle that night. And so like for the first 50 backers, they got entered into the raffle. And so I remember, it was that, and we already completed a goal, because we raised 3,000 in the first night. Right. In like the 2.5 hours. So we already had reached our art goal, you know, for the raffle, and then our backer goal for the raffle, and then we had to immediately start figuring out the stretch goals, because I'm somebody who doesn't think about stretch goals ahead of time, because like I don't want to jinx anything. So, you know, but we hit the first stretch goal in that evening as well. So again, thank you, Instagram Live. You know, I mean, it was a huge, awesome thing. We're doing it again for this one as well. So.
Well, I've just had a quick look at your Kickstarter page for Bigfoot Knows Karate Chapter 2. It is coming soon. So, guys, if you're interested in what we're talking about, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you where we are.
Oh, cool. We can see what the notification count is.
Yeah.
I haven't looked today. So.
Have you not looked?
Not today.
Let's see what we can do then to help you with that.
Okay.
98.
98. Okay, we're getting close.
Man, so if you're interested in what we're talking about, you can always go back and look at Chapter 1 on Kickstarter. Dan was nice enough to let me know that the issue 1's available on Global Comics. Yep.
It is on globalcomics.com for free. So that's comics with an X, not a CS. You can go read the entire first issue for which is like a 30-page story for free on me. Go have fun.
And if you are interested in Global Comics, go look through the Outside the Panels menu. I spoke to the CEO of Global a little while ago, so that's cool. If you are interested in issue 2, there's a little notify me on launch there. Click that button, and then you will get a nice little Kickstarter reminder to tell you that when it goes live. When is it going live?
October 12th, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, here in the States. We are Yeah, we will start the live around 6:30 Central that evening, myself. And so it's interesting. This time around, a friend of ours, Chris from Homebrewed Comics, he has a book, Crit. He is going to be launching at the exact same time. He contacted me. He's like, "You're going on October 12th, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, we're launching at the same time." I said, "Okay." And he goes, "You want to launch together?" I said, "Let's do it." So we're doing a live launch party on Instagram that night. And so Chris is launching his book. Casey and I are launching Bigfoot. And so we're going to have, we'll get on 6:30 that evening. And we're going to hang out for a little while. We'll both press the buttons, to our Kickstarters at the same time. And it's 7 o'clock and just let's go. So people can come to the watch and the live that night, in the chat and hang out with us. Also, we'll be bringing people into the room to, other creators and stuff like that to talk about their projects. So it's not just a launch, it's a party. We're going to have fun. I will have a small bar set up right over there so I can, have a cocktail through the evening, and we're going to have a good time with this.
Cool. Excellent. Time for a quick break then.
Sure.
I think let's have a quick look. Well, you said turtles. You said you like turtles, didn't you? Back in the day. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You never know. I know you've got lots of fingers in pies when it comes to merch. Maybe Bigfoot could be on this show down the line. It's a crisis in the Toyverse. How cool would that be? A Bigfoot figure.
Oh my Lord, that would be the coolest. There's been some chatter about it, but haven't gotten there yet. I think the next thing's gonna be a plushie. Will be, in the free campaign. I'll probably do a plushie for that one.
I was speaking to Laurie Calcaterra yesterday on her book, which is Path of the Pale Rider.
Right, yeah.
And they have an exclusive on one of their stretch goals for a white boxed main character Funko Pop.
Okay.
And it's like something like $200.
Oh wow.
It's like people are like clamoring for this.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm aware of the campaign. It's really good looking stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. She's really great. She's really enthusiastic. She is fantastic.
I'll have to go back and look at the video.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So enough about Laurie. All right, here we go. Hi, Laurie. Love you. Don't forget my t-shirt. All right. Okay. Boom. Issue 2, page 1. I'm not going to go too much into the pages because I don't want to spoil it for people. Because I think, you know what? You pays your money, you takes your choice, right? And also, this is going to be on your Kickstarter as well, I assume.
Absolutely, yes.
A couple of things I'm interested in, if I may be so bold. The rabbit's still here. It's like, what? Bigfoot and rabbit? It's like Batman and Robin.
It's Batman and Rabbit, no, it's the Rabbit's important, everybody, it's funny. When I was originally coming up with the first few pages I put together, like the first 8 pages of the book were like kind of a proof of concept for me when I was in issue 1. We're like, can this actually work? Can this be done? And at one point in the story, the rabbit was going to die, and and then I kept the rabbit, and then really loved the rabbit, and I started writing around the rabbit. You know what I mean? And so yeah, he's here.
Good.
Yeah.
Keep the rabbit.
Yeah, he's great.
That's what I'm saying. Does Rabbit have a name, or is he just going to be Rabbit?
He's just the rabbit. He's just the rabbit right now. He's the bunny.
Yeah, just a bunny. Bless his cotton socks.
Bigfoot's got a name, but But we have, if you read it, if you, issue 1, read issue 1, you can find that little nugget out there. So
how you said that you've drawn in different styles for different books. If you look, we looked at the first issue, and the first couple of pages are really quite clean and quite sedate. Is probably a nice way to put it. As the book gets further on, and you meet, I can't pronounce his name, the Cthulhu character.
Yeah, Kung Fu Cthulhu.
There you go. See, you know all this. I get people's names wrong at the best of times. Never mind coming with characters. That tends to go a little bit darker, a little bit heavier on the colors, and then this issue starts with the same sort of intent. Is this symptomatic of where Bigfoot is in his story? And
yes. Here's the thing, like
I've been doing this before, right?
There's ultra realism in comics these days. That's kind of a big deal right now. People dig, that art style and that sort of thing. And if you can draw it, hey, you do it. But for me, like I can't draw it, and B, no, I want the artwork to be a reflection of the story, and I want the mood of the story to seep into the artwork. If there's something crazy happening, I don't want them just standing in front of a blank wall, for 6 panels. I know, the emotion plays hard into the artwork, and where he is at in his life and his moment and his time, that's going to be reflective of that. In this scene, we start off in, this hellscape, which we were introduced to in the first issue. And, he's been put through the ringer from issue 1, and and it's not looking much better for him in issue 2, to be honest.
Bigfoot knows karate meets John Wick. Oh no. I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on this. I get that people love ultra realism art. I get people love that, right? One of my favorite books right now. It's a DC book. You can hate me. It's fine.
No.
Batgirls.
Is it good?
It's just bonkers. It is
good.
Absolutely off the wall bonkers. It's Steph, it's Cass, it's Barbara doing daft things. The art's dead scrawny looking and big heads and small bodies, and
right.
It's just cartoon-esque taken to the next level. And I read this book and I absolutely enjoy it. I think it is one of the funnest books kicking around the DC do. On the flip side, I'm enjoying Captain Marvel from Marvel.
Okay.
So I think you can get away. The beauty of comic books is the fact that you can have different books with different art styles, as long 100%. As it tells the right story, the right art for the right story. Yeah.
100%. This art style for me was an experiment. I've never really drawn like this before. Doing what I'm doing for Bigfoot. Yeah. I did a thing for Drew Edwards' Halloween Man a few years ago, and he asked me what kind of story I want to do. I said I want to do something horrific, because everything else I've done up to that point would have been comedy. And so he gave me he wrote some short stories specific, to what I was looking for, and it was really gory, and I really enjoyed it. To be honest, I've never gotten to do that. I'm not a horror guy. I don't like gore in my general daily life, and so I had a good time doing it. And so drawing Bigfoot 1, when Casey was writing things, and he's like, "Is that too gory for you?" I'm like, "Dude, more gore. Let's go over the top with it. Let's have some fun with it." So I just try and bring there's a good one. Yeah.
How's it work then? Because with 2 writers, how's it work? Do you have to sort of, with Casey being the editor as well, do you have to kind of listen to him more than you want to?
I think no, it's not like that. Actually, he has to put up with me more than he wants to. I think it's more like it.
Baby. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we it's funny because we jive very well together. But today we were going on about, we had this thing in the issue 2, because I'm still drawing on some of it right now, and so there was a piece near the end where we've been debating one part, and we've been debating this part for like a while, and finally he sold me on his take on it, and I wrote to him in a text, "Sold, you win, I'm done." And he wrote back, "Yes," or whatever, LOL, or I don't know what it was, but I could feel his enthusiasm from the other end of the phone for sure. It's a different writing experience, completely different than anything else I've done. I mean, and I'm sure for him too, he's used to being the solo writer on his book. I'm used to being the solo writer on my book. And, but I don't think this would be as fun, both from the actual product standpoint of what we're putting out and for the process of making it if we weren't doing this together.
Yeah. Cool. That's a really good shout. I've checked another one out as well. I'm going to show this one, and I've stopped at this point because you know what? I do not want to go too far because I think in the preview pages you've sent me, I think there's a massive twist in there, and it's without context, without words, so I don't know for definite. So, but I just do not want to go there because I'm not going to because I'm nice like that.
I appreciate it.
Whoa, man! You do the colors as well, you said?
I do.
What? I mean,
my process is a little odd too. I draw with my fingertip on my laptop in Adobe Illustrator. So I use my fingertip and a mouse. This is all I use for my drawing. I use Adobe Illustrator, and so I draw my stuff in Adobe Illustrator and I color it in Adobe, and then I take it into Photoshop. And depending on what I'm doing, this one was like layers. I mean, there's probably 100 layers in the actual illustration. Then I took it apart, like each panel was its own layer in the Photoshop file, so I could put in more fire and put in the electricity in Photoshop. And so there's a lot happening here. And then so I do all the coloring in Illustrator, but then I do color corrections in Photoshop after that. So
very impressive page, that, my friend.
Thank you very much. I was channeling my inner image with the scratchy panels and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, I thought it worked for what I was trying to do, because
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you said you're not showing the next page, but if you've seen the next page, you see where it. Yeah.
I'm not showing.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. So you get where I'm going with this. So
definitely, I love those big scratchy panels. I think stuff like that.
I do too. I think they're fun. I think they show emotion. They show a kinetic energy that you don't get in a square panel.
Shows the seriousness of what's going on, because it's like the world's gone off kilter, so something must be really bad. It's not just like this, If I see one more 9-panel page, I think I'll throw up. I mean, don't get me wrong, loved it in The Watchmen. Well done. But that was back in the 80s, for Christ's sakes.
Well, here's the thing, and I'd say this to Casey all the time, man. Please, not too many panels. I'm really too lazy for all of that. I mean, I draw big, and that's the thing. I'd rather add more pages to the book and draw comfortably than, try and do 9 panels on a page. And look, straight up, so much credit to the people who can do it. I got some friends in Indy who can do awesome 7, 8, 10 panel pages, and make it work and work well. I'm not that guy. I'm just not that guy. Not the story I'm telling too, And
this is what I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Mike Mignola. I think his art is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Gotham does Gaslight, the whole
amazing.
BRPD. Did I say that right?
Yeah, BRPD.
There you go. The whole Mignola-verse with Dark Horse, fantastic. But put him on a Spider-Man book, it wouldn't work.
No. Did you ever see a book that he did for DC back in the 80s called Cosmic Odyssey?
Yes.
Yeah, very fun. Very fun. That was my first experience with Mignola when I was a little kid.
My wife bought me a couple of years ago a hardcover DC book, World of... I say Mignola, sorry, so it's Mignola.
Yeah, no,
and it's like all these World of Krypton stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Leading into Cosmic Odyssey.
Yeah, that was the stuff that John Byrne was doing and all of that. Yeah. I read that off the rack when I was a kid. I mean...
And I'm looking at this thinking, this isn't what I expected it to look like. Where's all the shadows gone? But obviously, art, as you quite rightly say, evolves as you go through.
Absolutely.
Right, what have we got next? Let's have a quick look. Everything Bigfoot can be found at this website. Check it out. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Boom. There you go. What A nice little panel you've got going on there. Look at that.
Thank you very much.
A hint of characters going on. There you go. Information around the Kickstarter. You mentioned October the 12th this
You got
year.
it.
Your little visit Kickstarter tab there. Probably better than trying to write down the Kickstarter that I'm going to show you later on, if I'm honest. But, that's cool. Again, some information. They've been on for the ride. A nice little YouTube video there.
That's from last year's Kickstarter, but yeah.
Brings you nice up. And, of course, there's the variant covers. What do you think of variant covers? Are they a necessary evil now in comic books?
Yeah. I don't think they're evil, but I think they're necessary. As a kid, or as previously to doing all this stuff I never did a variant cover before. All the years I made comics, I never made a variant cover, and all the years that I read comics, I rarely chased a variant cover. But let me say, I have enjoyed working with all the different artists I've gotten to work with. I mean, if you scroll down to see the art gallery, we have some of it up there. We get a lot of fan art too. I mean, we've received almost 100 pieces of fan art at this point. I need to update the gallery, but we've received a ton. I love working with other artists and seeing people excited about the character and all of that. So I didn't know I appreciated variant covers like I do now. We got 3 amazing variant covers for this issue, and I think though people. It is one of those things people expect in a Kickstarter now.
Well, I like variant covers. I'm very much a fan of the one that I don't. There's one I don't like, but the one if you've got a regular priced variant cover, or even if it's just a little bit more expensive, and if it's on cardstock, for example,
sure,
that's fine. What I don't like is it's when it's like you have to pay like $50 or $100 for a cover because it's like a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 100 or whatever. I think to myself, you know what? No. It's still the same comic book inside, right?
Absolutely. Me, the consumer, I probably wouldn't do it either.
But
I
have chased some. I mean, the Killing Time Catwoman one, gorgeous stuff by Art Germ, gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I'm a sucker for Tim Sale and J. Scott Campbell. So my comic book, had it on order that if there's a Tim Sale cover comes in on the books that I collect, you automatically put that version away for me, regardless.
Nice.
Every time.
Nice.
So he's one of my faves, and was really sad to hear his passing recently.
Me too. He was I've been a fan of his since he was on what's his name, Death Blow. I mean, that's how early 90s, mid 90s when I first saw him. So what do we do? So what we do a little different with the instead of like making it more expensive for no damn reason, what we do is we do regular editions and deluxe editions of the book. Yeah. So in issue 1, we did a 30-page regular edition and I had a variant cover with that. And then we did a deluxe edition, and the deluxe edition was 44 pages. So you got 30-page story plus a 10-page art gallery plus a director's commentary link that you could click on the QR code, and it would take you to a YouTube video where we would talk about the book, myself, Casey, 3 other people, and we would go through the book ad nauseum and discuss it page by page and break down what was going on, where we were going in the future and all that stuff like that. Because I'm a sucker for like director's commentaries on DVDs back in the day. Loved them. And the fact that those are obsolete just never sat well with me.
No, I'm a floppy guy. The latex Avenger's going to enjoy that when he thinks about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I like buying comic books. I like comics.
Yeah.
I very rarely buy trades because I don't like it when they're like really in the spine. You have to like do that too. Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. I read digitally because I have to, because I review comic books for Crusaders. Otherwise, people aren't going to send me books all the way over to the UK for that. So for me, if I'm buying a trade, I want all that extra stuff. I want the artist pages. I want the script, and I want the discussion of why we went with this panel and not that panel, because it adds more to the whole experience. And as a wannabe creator, it makes me think, oh, I never thought about it like that, or oh, I didn't realize that. So
absolutely. No, I want to know. I mean, like, it's like when you get an artist's sketchbook at like a convention,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, cool, I'm going to sell this cool stuff. And then they end up like reproducing a bunch of things that they did, like covers and stuff like that. And you're like,
Yeah.
screw you, man. I've already seen that. Give me the good stuff. Give me the new.
Yeah.
I want the leads. I want the Glengarry leads. No, I'm kidding. That had nothing to do with anything. Sorry, I watched that movie a few days ago, so it's up in my head. But no, you want the good extras. You know what I mean? You want the good extras. So like at Baltimore, Comic Con at the end of October, I am doing a foil cover for the first time. 25 units. I'm taking them to Baltimore it's a foil of this artwork here. Hold on.
I'm fire. Let me make you big so everyone can see.
Okay.
There you go.
So it's going to be a foil of this artwork right here.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, this was a cover by a gentleman named Adam Caswell that he did for issue 1. This was actually a piece of fan art. Can you believe it? And
wow.
And he mailed it to me as a gift. I'm like, that's crazy. How about I pay you for it and we make it a cover? And this actually won the Comics Wellspring Master of the Comic Cover contest. So so thank you, Adam. Yeah. So I'll put it right here for now. Now I have a blank spot in my wall, but that's okay.
Yeah. Your OCD is going to kick in a minute. You know that, right?
Yeah, right.
Don't we just keep looking at me?
If you saw my office, you'd see there was no OCD really going on here. Trust me, it's a disaster.
So it's more DCO then, all right?
Yeah. So, anyway, that's where I was going with that.
Well, I'd also like about your whole sort of, I guess, plan for Bigfoot is you've gone the multimedia fashion because you've got. Let me just also share this with everybody.
Okay.
Possibly some of the coolest stuff I've seen for a while. T-shirts.
Oh, right on. I was like, multimedia. What do we do?
Like, what's he talking about? So, I mean, this is a great way of getting your book out there. My wife and I, we love geeky T-shirts and stuff, but we like clever geeky.
Right.
So my wife bought me. It says, it has a P on it, like a stylized P, and underneath it's got consolidated, which is Palmer Consolidated from the Arrow TV show. So unless you know Arrow, you don't know what the T-shirt's about. It's not as obvious as like a great big Batman sign in the middle.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And so we have my kids have like T-shirts from Resident Evil movies, but they've just like got the place badge name on. Mm-hmm. And unless you know what that place is,
if you know, right? Yeah.
So for me, stuff like this, T-shirts like this, just absolutely float my boat. I am.
Right on, man.
I'm so into these, and some of the designs are absolutely spot on. I love this one in the middle.
Oh, Josh Flower, my friend from years ago, he did that. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love it.
I also quite like that one as well.
That's fun. Casey has that one. He has that one. I'm wearing the one in the middle here. See, I'm wearing that one today. Yeah.
Let's see. Go on, Sean.
Oh, yeah. Here, see.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cheap plug.
So you are taking that kind of image model to heart a little bit when it comes to Bigfoot. You've got your website, you've got your Kickstarter, you've got the book. Mm-hmm. You're on Global Comics. You've got the T-shirts. You're going for the hardcore press here, right?
Yeah. Trying to make splash, right? I mean, trying to get people excited about what we're doing. I'm not big on merch at shows. Like, I don't bring a ton of it with me, but we got stickers and pins and that sort of thing But I mean, in the end of the day, there's prints as well. But in the end of the day, man, I just want people to read the comic. I'm excited about the book. Here, I have a copy right here. So let me just. Hey, there you go. I'm excited about the book. I'm glad people dug it. And, I just can't wait for more people to get to read it and hear what they got to say. I mean,
cool.
It's been the funnest time I've had in comics. Seriously. It really has. It's been so much fun. And my old creative partner, Bon Adami, we worked on, he came on Latex after a while, and we did Masters of the Obvious and the Stan Lee thing together. He passed away a couple years ago. And I really wish he was here right now just to see what the hell was going on, because I think he would have had a big kick about this, And he would have also told me he wanted to draw it and I was drawing it wrong. He would have told me that for sure. So he's like, "You're doing this wrong." I know he would have. I miss him so much. It's been 4 years. So
sorry, man.
yeah,
sorry.
That's all good. But I just wish he was here to be a part of it, because this has been the best time. It's been the best time.
Sweet. All right, don't forget to check out everything we've covered over the day. You can follow Dan and Everything Bigfoot on social media. You've got your Instagram there, and you've got your Twitter, likes, follows, and so forth. Go for that. I know I'll be checking out the Twitter later, definitely. There's the Kickstarter. Now, yes, I know Kickstarter addresses are really, really long. All right, and yes, you can pause this video whilst you're watching it and write it all down. But really, all you got to do is go to Kickstarter and type in Bigfoot Knows Karate, and it'll come straight up.
Yeah. Or go to my Instagram. It's up in the links in the bio. Go to BigfootKnowsKarate.com. The link's right there on the website. Just go check it out. Yep, Bigfoot Knows Karate right there.
Yeah, you saw it there. They just click the tab and job. But Bob's your uncle. There you go. Job done.
Bob's your uncle, exactly.
Fanny was your aunt. And if you want a T-shirt, check out the T Republic website. There's the link, so you can find out all your T-shirts needs that you want. And next time you get one ordered, get yourselves to Baltimore. Don't be too hurt that the Dolphins beat you week 2. Sorry. And then I've got to get my Dolphin digs in now because we lost.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
have fun, man. We're Saints house over here, so we lost to Brady last week, or 2 weeks ago, so that was fun.
Loads of people lose. Brady is my favorite person I hate, but did you know he's the only quarterback in NFL history to beat every NFL team?
That's incredible. That's incredible. Look, dude, I mean, I don't like the guy, but he's incredible.
I don't like the guy, and he is incredible.
He's incredible.
I don't like Derek Jeter, but man, he could play baseball. Anyway,
he could play baseball. Yeah, no, I'm an Astros fan, so I have to live with that shame sometimes. But like they just, they're 103 games right now, I think, and they're doing great. And the Yanks have been stomping on them all season, but you've been leading the season, but they came second half after the All-Star break. Anyway, I can talk baseball all day. Let's stop that.
I am a traditional Yankee hater, so.
Okay, me too.
So yeah. So I got into baseball way late. So I like Florida Marlins because they play at the same stadium as the Dolphins, and I like the Mets because I hate the Yankees, and I like the Red Sox because I hate the Yankees.
Yeah. No, I've been to anyway. Yes, I love the Mets. Although I have an issue with the Mets because as an Astros fan, when they were in the American League Central or the National League Central back when I was a kid. The Mets beat the Astros in the 1986 National League Championship, and it destroyed me as a 10-year-old. Destroyed me, and so but I'll always root for the Mets over the Yankees. Like I'll always root for the Jets over the Giants. You know what I mean?
I'll never root for the Jets. Sorry, man.
No, nobody's rooting for the Jets, but me and like 2 other people. But I love underdogs, man. I love an underdog.
So it must have been really hard for you then, because when Roger Clemens started pitching for the Astros, you must have been like torn about that, were you?
Well, no, because in the end of the day, you're just rooting for clothes, right? These guys move around, all over the place, getting traded. It's like Seinfeld said, you're basically rooting for a uniform. You're rooting for clothes. No, man, there's nothing quite like seeing Roger Clemens pitch and getting to see Clemens pitch live. That was incredible. And I mean, do you remember when they played? Were they playing St. Louis or Cincinnati? I can't remember. In the 2005 playoffs. And Clemens was not starting that day, and the inning they went to 21 innings in the playoffs, and Clemens had to come out and pitch from the bullpen for like for the 17th and 18th innings. I mean, that's insane when you've used up all your pitchers where you got to bring out the rocket. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, yeah.
One day's rest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love baseball. So
I love baseball. Oh, dude, we can do a whole nother podcast about that sometime. Seriously.
We should.
Absolutely.
Geeks and sports. All right, Dan.
2 things that don't always go together.
Dan, thanks so much for taking the time out to speak to me. I really do appreciate it. Kickstarter's live on October the 12th. What time did you say? 8 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. Central?
Nailed it.
Well, it's like I listen. All right. for all us Brits, that's something like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. So get yourself there.
Hey, good night. Good morning. Yeah,
Good
definitely.
morning. Yeah,
But
cool.
yeah, Johnny, thanks for having me on, man. Seriously.
You're more than welcome, my friend. More than welcome. Don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows. You saw the advert for it earlier. It's the Crisis in the Toyverse. And of course, if you like everything Marvel and DC, you can check out the No Prize podcast for all your Marvel, Disney Plus, and MCU stuff. So imagine lots of Andor and She-Hulk on there. And if you're into your DC, it's the Definitive Crusade. There you go. Dan, one more time, thanks a lot. The book looks
man,
great.
it was awesome.
Cannot wait to see it. 7 minutes is a bit of a record, so I'd like to see this fly off the shelf. I'll keep an eye on
Well, we're asking for a little bit more, so I don't know if we'll break 7 minutes, but we're asking for 1,500 instead of 1,000 this time, so maybe we'll see if we can get there. I don't know. I just want to.
But remember, you started off with you didn't start off with 98 backers in your back pocket.
This is true.
So
this is true. You're right. Maybe we got a chance. We got a chance. Well, you know what? If you're awake, that night at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, come and hang out with us on the live that night. Seriously, cool. I'll get you into the video and come bullshit with us for a little bit. So, are you on Instagram?
I'm on Twitter. I like you on Twitter.
You like it on Twitter?
I do Twitter. So
okay, cool. Well, we're going to be on Instagram live that night, but
I'll find a way to get on. It's cool.
You're amazing.
Cool. All right. I have been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and as always, adios. Video never plays. There we go.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.